Hello, welcome to my Python Masterclass course, where we shall be learning about Python programming fundamentals. So, this course basically entails the following. So, it has been designed to provide comprehensive introduction to Python programming language, catering to individuals with little to no prior coding experience. Through a series of lectures, hands-on exercises, and projects, students will learn the fundamental concepts of Python programming and develop practical skills to write and understand and debug Python code. By the end of the course, students will have a solid foundation in Python programming and will be able to tackle a variety of programming tasks. So basically, the course outline for this particular masterclass uh, will run for a period of 7 weeks. During the first week, we'll look at introduction to Python. Um, Basically, that will be an introduction to programming and Python as a language. Then we look at how to set up uh, Python, environment for programming. Then we look at basic syntax and data types. That will include variables, strings, numbers, lists, tuples, and dictionaries. And we'll also check now we can maybe use Python as a calculator. Uh, we'll write and execute simple Python scripts. And that will be it for the first week. For the second week, we look at control flow. Basically, we'll be looking at outright conditional statements, that is if, else, and else if statements. We look at outright loops, that's the for loops and the while loops. Loop control statements, how to break a loop and how to continue with the loop. Afterwards, we look at practical exercises and application of control flow. That's it for the second week. For the third week, we look at functions and modules. We'll introduce functions. We'll define and call functions. We'll look at function arguments and return values. We'll look at scope and lifetime of variables. We'll work with modules and libraries. We'll also learn how to organize code into reusable modules, and finally do practical exercises that will involve functions and modules. For the week, the fourth week, we look at data structures and file handling. This will be list and list manipulation, tuples and sets, dictionaries and dictionary manipulation, file input and output operations. We'll also look at reading from and writing text to files. We'll handle exceptions and errors. And finally, do practical exercises that will be involving data structures and file handling. For the fifth week, we'll look at object-oriented programming basics. We'll do an introduction in object-oriented programming concepts and look at classes and objects, attributes and methods, inheritance and polymorphism, encapsulation and abstraction, and finally do practical exercises that will include object-oriented programming concepts. For the sixth week, we shall look at advanced topics like working with libraries and introduction to data visualization. We'll also look at our web scraping and database using SQLite. Yeah, SQLite. Yeah. So, and of course, at the end of it all, we'll do practical projects integrating various concepts learned throughout the course. Now, for the final week, which is week 7, we look at final project. Basically, here we expect students to work on a final project, applying skills learned throughout the course, and project presentation and peer feedback. We'll do a Q&A session and wrap up. Now, concerning the assessment of the whole course, we will have weekly quizzes to assess understanding of concepts covered, coding assignments to practice and apply concepts learned, participation in class discussions and activities. And finally, we'll have a final project evaluation based on creativity, functionality, and adherence-based practices. That's it for this masterclass. See you in the next class.